As we get closer and closer to the NBA trade deadline this year, we're going to see more and more reports and rumors about which teams could possibly get involved in some big-time swaps that would potentially shake things up completely around the league. There are already quite a few of these rumors going around, and some players are very obviously on the trade block, and as a result, media outlets are obviously going to continue proposing hypothetical deals we could expect to anticipate to happen at the trade deadline this year. We've done this a few times already on the channel now, and we're back with another one, and for today's video, we'll once again be looking at an article posted by national media outlet Bleacher Report written by Greg Schwartz, where they propose 4 blockbuster trade ideas that would blow up the playoff race. I'll go through each one in the article and analyze why each team would possibly want to do the deal, whether or not it's realistic, and who would come out as a potential winner of the trade. And if you want to read the article itself, it will be linked in the description. Before we start though, it turns out about 65% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I would also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first proposed trade in the article we'll be discussing today was between the Orlando Magic and San Antonio Spurs, and in the deal, the Spurs receive All-Star Nikola Vucevic, and in exchange, they send the Magic Lonnie Walker, LaMarcus Aldridge, and a 2021 and 2023 first-round pick. After spending quite a few years hovering in the limbo zone of mediocrity, this year has really started to go downhill for the Magic. With the talent they have on their roster, and with the way the team is currently constructed, they must face the reality that at their absolute best, they're only probably a first-round exit in the playoffs, so becoming sellers at the deadline and shifting their focus onto developing their younger players for the future makes a lot of sense. They do have quite a few useful and productive players that contenders will be calling them about as it approaches as well, and as we see in this hypothetical trade, Nikola Vucevic is clearly one of their best. After missing the playoffs last season, almost everyone wrote off the Spurs as a playoff hopeful, and yet here they are bouncing back and having a strong, competitive season so far. Vucevic just kind of seems like the perfect player that should be a Spur, as his diverse skill set and the fact that he's always been pretty underrated would definitely be embraced by Coach Popovich. It's been reported that the Spurs will be trading LaMarcus Aldridge also, and honestly, I like this deal overall for both sides. For the Magic, they get 2 first-round picks, which helps them a ton as they transition towards the future, along with an incredibly promising prospect in Lonnie Walker, who has had quite a few flashes that they could continue to develop in him. As for the Spurs, Vucevic fills the massive glaring hole the team has in the middle of the court down low, and would definitely give them much better odds to hold on to their playoff spot and even potentially make some noise once they get to the playoffs, as they're currently in 7th place in the West. This one definitely feels like one of the better and more balanced deals we'll be talking about today, and I wouldn't be surprised if something like this happens. The next trade we'll be analyzing from the article was between the New York Knicks and New Orleans Pelicans, and in it the Knicks receive Lonzo Ball and JJ Redick in exchange for Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, Elfrid Payton, a 2021 first-round pick, and a 2021 second-round pick. The Knicks are surprising literally everybody as they continue to make their push for the playoffs, and this trade in particular would definitely be a move made to help bolster their chances for right now. The Knicks, led by Julius Randle, have found a lot of success attacking the basket and finishing inside, but if there's one thing they still struggle with mightily, it's shooting the basketball. They make the second fewest three-point shots per game in the entire NBA so far this year, and this trade would obviously address that, as both Lonzo and Redick have been willing and capable bombers from deep. After a slow start, Lonzo has really been shooting it well from 3 over the last month or so, and Redick is still making 40% of his catch-and-shoot threes in those situations, and adding players like that, along with Lonzo's defensive ability and playmaking, would give them much more needed production in some of their weak areas. Now, would the Pelicans do this? I'm not so sure. The Pelicans failing to reach an agreement with Lonzo on a contract extension, combined with rumors of them not looking to sign him when he hits free agency, tells me they could potentially look to cash in on him before he leaves for nothing, but at the same time, I'm not sure if this is the best offer they could get in a package for him and Redick. The Pelicans aren't actively looking to move Lonzo, despite their hesitations to keep him long term, and if they did end up moving him, I could see more of a bidding war take place because of how well he's been playing as of late. The next proposed trade we'll be analyzing from this article is between the Miami Heat and the Houston Rockets, and in this deal the Heat receive Victor Oladipo and PJ Tucker in exchange for Kendrick Nunn, Precious Achiuwa, Myers Leonard, and a future first-round pick. The Rockets, to put it simply, have just been bad for the last month or so, and all of the injuries they've dealt with, specifically with Christian Wood's injury, has resulted in a 15-game losing streak, now that has them at the bottom of the standings, with the third worst record in the whole league. They're definitely one of the prime candidates to be sellers at the trade deadline, as they have quite a few players that aren't exactly interested in sticking around for a rebuild, like it looks like the Rockets are heading towards, and Oladipo is clearly one of them. The Miami Heat have been a team rumored to be very interested in Victor Oladipo for a while now, and the feeling seems to be mutual from Oladipo's camp also, and that mutual interest is one of the biggest reasons why other teams trading for Oladipo would be a risk. Oladipo is going to be a free agent this summer, so trading for Oladipo only for him to leave in a few months isn't exactly ideal unless Oladipo would want to re-sign in his new destination, and the Heat definitely could get him to agree to an extension. However, on the flip side of things, the Heat could also feel as though trading for him would be a waste of assets when they could just convince him to sign in free agency this summer without having to give anything away. And finally, the last trade we'll be discussing from the article is between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Toronto Raptors, and in it the 76ers receive Kyle Lowry and the Raptors receive Tyrese Maxey, Danny Green, Mike Scott, Terrence Ferguson, and a first-round pick. There have been a ton of conflicting reports about whether or not the Raptors would actually look to trade Lowry before the trade deadline this year, and he only has 1 year left on his contract, and his future with the team, due to him being 34 years old, about to turn 35 next week, is in question. The Raptors have had a pretty rocky season so far, starting slow, then going on a hot streak, and now once again they're trending in the wrong direction, as they're only in 11th place in the Eastern Conference standings at the moment. My belief is that if they think they can still turn things around and make a strong playoff push, then Lowry won't be going anywhere, and since they're only 2 games out of the 8th seed at the moment, that's definitely where I'm leaning. However, if they continue to lose and that gap widens between them and the playoffs, then I can't imagine them not entertaining offers at the deadline as it approaches. The Sixers have been one of the teams most consistently associated with a Lowry trade for several reasons, including their strong need for another playmaker besides Ben Simmons to run the show when he's not on the court, the fact that Lowry is from Philadelphia and would be interested in playing in his hometown, and just the general want from the Sixers to add another star as they try to solidify themselves for a deep playoff run. The combination of a promising young shot creator in Tyrese Maxey, a first-round pick, and the veterans in that deal that make the money work makes this a decent offer, but they may have to add more draft capital to it to really entice the Raptors, and the only real way this even happens is if the Raptors' season goes completely south soon. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about these hypothetical trades. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.